Now that it's certain, without a shadow of a doubt, that leftist rhetoric is one of the inciting factors that caused the murder of Charlie Kirk, an innocent man, a father, and a husband, and it's also leftist rhetoric that is causing millions of freaks to go mask off and cheer on his death, I think it's really important to expose these people immediately. Now, I know Cenk Uygur is like one of these big, oh no, political violence has no place, but he's a liar and a fraud, all right? That dude is a slime, and apparently he gets exposed to his face because a lot of these people do this strategy, all right? They do this strat where they say, go kill that guy, but I don't support political violence. And then they can always go back to the little, oh, but I don't condone it, but I made a disclaimer, I don't want political violence. Even though I literally say, go kill that guy. So today we're going to be talking about this because a lot of people on Twitter are trying their absolute best to make believe this is a gun issue, to make believe this is just one mentally ill individual, to say, oh, well, that person, that murderer's parents were Trump voters. None of that matters. It's very obvious. We see who the villains are, and we are not playing this two sides bullshit ever again. It's over. It is absolutely over. 100% confirmed, Charlie Kirk's killer, Tyler Robinson, had a boyfriend who identifies as transgender. The man is cooperating with the FBI and has turned over all electronics and messages. Yes, this is officially trans violence. Now, a lot of people are trying to point out and say, no, wait, no, it's not trans violence because the killer's boyfriend was transgender. Not actually the killer, it was the killer's boyfriend, so that's not trans violence. Actually, it is, okay? And I'll explain to you exactly how. This whole LGBT shit stuff was obviously a huge, gigantic part of Tyler Robinson, the killer, to the point that he was dating a mutilated man. He was stupping a mutilated retard. All right, this is obviously part of the reality. The T in LGBT is starting to sound like it stands for terrorism. Okay, I don't care if it was a trans person that pulled the trigger. Ultimately, it is ideologically driven, far left, furry retard. Don't care, fuck you. Anyway, really glad that we clarified that one. Oh, another big thing that a lot of people have been trying to say, and this is the funniest shit in the universe. This is literally the funniest shit in the universe. People are saying that, actually, Tyler Robinson isn't gay because the boyfriend transitioned to a woman. So, yes, he was having sex with a biological man, but actually, it was a trans woman, so he was straight. Dog, no one's falling for your funky head games. No one cares, all right? Literally, I don't give a shit. This is insane. It's like, yeah, a man with a penis is putting his penis in this person's ass, but technically he's not gay because the man with a penis called his penis a vagina. All right, good. I'm really glad that we've gotten to the bottom of this shit. All right, we've gotten to the bottom. Y'all are retarded, all right, and evil. Anyway, breaking news. They said the quiet part out loud. They're trying their absolute best to make it sound like it could be anyone that caused the death of Charlie Kirk, not necessarily that it was a leftist.
I heard the congressman on there saying, oh, we need to tone down the rhetoric. Well, will the rhetoric get toned down? I mean, again, I go back to what was on the bullet from this kid was fascism, and that's only coming from one side currently in this debate, and it's on every placard and every poster around the country. I mean, I think it's a valid question, but are they going to live up to what they say they're going to do with the Nazi and the fascism and the like?
Do you think I don't think we know, just to be clear, I mean, just law enforcement people, I don't think we know the meaning of his message.
We don't know the meaning of the message of the guy who's a far leftist, socialist, gay, dating a transgender who wrote on his bullets, literally wrote on his bullets, anti-fascist, Bella Ciao, which is a Italian anti-fascist song. Really, we don't know. Thank you, CNN, for your political analysis. Now, you have to understand, this is a national security analyst. Dude, these job positions are fake. They're all fake. These people, they're all propagandized freaks. Come on. Are you kidding me? Really? Why are we even playing this game? Why are we even playing this game? It's absolute insanity. It's absolute insanity at its absolute finest. And, you know, she goes on, she continues yapping and yapping, trying her absolute best, talking about how obviously, we don't know. It's true that he's a far leftist, but he could have been doing it because he's pro-gun. Yeah, all right, retard. Anyway, don't care. Your booze me nothing. We've seen what makes you cheer. This shit's over. We don't care. It's over. It's literally over. Don't give a shit. Now, explain this, because everyone's saying maybe the shooter is different. Well, millions cheering on social media. They're all leftist. All right, that's one. Two, and now I hope you're ready to pay attention. Two, over the last 24 hours, there were multiple vigils held for Charlie Kirk and memorials held for Charlie Kirk. A civil rights icon that was taken from us way too soon, that obviously God had some sort of strategy and plan for, but we don't understand it, and we are all hurting and grieving. They attacked it. They attacked the vigil.
And we want to warn you, the next video is disturbing. A man trampled the memorial for Charlie Kirk at the Turning Point headquarters in Phoenix. This happened not too long ago. Our photog on the scene says the man kicked over flowers, vases, and balloons.
Right.
He was taken to the ground by an onlooker and then arrested. And back here.
So is this just another example of a one-off freak, one-off mentally insensitive individual? Maybe it's just one instance, right? Just like the shooter, right? Just like the shooter, it was just one instance. Or what about this one instance where someone spray painted "Kill all Charlie Kirks"? What about that? What about that? It's just another one instance. That one probably doesn't count. What about this one instance? This one instance where it says "Pack Watch Charlie Kirk rest in piss." What about this vandalism? Is that another one instance that's just one person that's obviously mentally not well? So you can't really count that because it's just one instance. What about this one instance? What about this one instance where someone shows up and vandalizes after this vigil? They vandalize the memorial here. What about that? What about that? Is this another one instance? Another one instance of public vandalism? What about this one? Another Charlie Kirk memorial vandalized. This is another one. All right, what do you think about this one? Right? Dude gets arrested. Another just one instance. That one probably doesn't count because it's one instance of an individual. We don't understand their motives, right, CNN? What about this one? This is a guy named Cam Higby that did like a Charlie Kirk style open debate, and they attacked him. Look, guys, just another one instance. We'll never know. We'll never know. We will never know if this is a problem based on the rhetoric of the left. We don't know. In fact, it's more likely that it's just one mentally ill individual. In fact, we don't even know their motives. Maybe this woman, this liberal woman, is secretly a Nick Fuentes fan, guys. We don't know. We don't know. Truly not at all. Breaking news. The FBI arrests 2 men in Utah for attempting to blow up a news vehicle at a vigil for Charlie Kirk with an incendiary explosive. Adib Nasir, part of the world's most peaceful religion, and Adil Justice Ahmed Nasir, another one of the world's most peaceful religion, face multiple charges including threat of terrorism, possession weapons of mass destruction, and possessing explosive devices. That's right. Great news, guys. Adib Nasir and Adil Ahmed Nasir were stopped, thank God. But to be honest, this is just another example of a potential right-wing guy. Probably, honestly, I don't even know if these people were Muslims. I don't even know if they're Muslims. Okay, to be clear. All right? I don't even know if they're Muslims. Assuming that they're Muslims is probably racism of some kind. Especially if you look at the news. You know why? Because I'm pretty sure the news, here, where did it say this? I found this earlier. Right. So, they called Adib Nasir a white man. Race, white. All right? Are we tired of this shit yet? Are we tired of this yet? Adib Ahmad Nasir is a white man. We are so fucking tired of this shit. It's from Pakistan. Just your classic white dude from Pakistan, ladies and gentlemen. We are so tired of this. But again, it could have been for any reason. It could have been, you see it, right? Adib Ahmed Nazir, sex male, height 501, race white. All right, look, man, we are noticing a lot in real time. Lots of noticing going on. Insane amount from Pakistan. Insane amounts of noticing. Another white man. Look, man, the killer was a white man. This guy's not a white man. He could be right wing. This is just another straight white male. Maybe it's Nazis that are killing and trying to bomb patrol cars. Who knows? BLM, all right? Also, they could be white people at BLM, all right? BLM, they're not racist. They include white people now, I hear. BLM disruptor crashes Charlie Kirk vigil. Look at what he was carrying. He ended up carrying concealed weapons. Look, guys, who knows? Who knows? It might just be a one specific individual instance. This is definitely not a systemic problem. This is probably just one crazy guy that went out and did something. And honestly, we don't even know his motives. For all we know, this BLM guy could be a right-winger. Who knows? One of those rare right-wing BLM guys that are deciding to attack one of these protests where they dehumanize you on the internet for weeks. What about this one? What about this potentially straight white man over here that was carrying a weapon saying, fuck y'all, ya homie dead. He got shot in the head, aggressively approaching people at a vigil and attacking the fascists. All right. So this potentially straight white man over here also is facing consequences. So I'm really glad that we're all coming together to realize that this is all bullshit. The media is trying their best to make believe that this is not an ideologically driven problem. It's not a propaganda-based problem. It's not a fascism-based problem. It is, in fact, a leftist problem. It is. I'm sorry. Again, maybe it's a coincidence that all 12 of these examples I just gave you are coincidentally leftists. Probably coincidence. But I personally do not think it's a coincidence. I think it's evil. I think it is propaganda, and I think they are trying to get you to get killed. They are trying to dehumanize you and kill you. Like I said on Twitter, where you should follow me, because I've been fucking going nuclear over there. Vance just started talking.
America, he devoted himself tirelessly to making our country a better place. He was a critical part of getting Donald Trump elected as president, getting me elected as vice president. And so much of our success over the last 7 months is due to his efforts, his staffing, his support, and his friendship. I don't think that I'm alone in saying that Charlie was the smartest political operative I ever met.
Damn.
Everyone knew him as this fearless debater, this guy who would take the conservative message into hostile places and inspire younger generations to have courage. One thing that's hit a lot of those young Americans over the last week was how Charlie was there for them when others were not. When they were afraid to speak their minds, when they were afraid of what a professor would say, when they were afraid that they would be shouted down by their peers, Charlie was there, showing them that they could be courageous and that they could be bold. Charlie was a visionary. He was a luminary. He brought together people. He didn't just teach people how to speak. He didn't just teach people what to say. He didn't just teach people they could actually speak their mind on campus. He created a whole social network.
Look, man, he's streaming on Charlie's channel on Rumble right now.
I know people who met their husband, who met their wife, who met the best man at their wedding at a TPUSA event. Because as you guys all know, it's not just about speaking our mind, it's about making friends along the way and creating that support network that won an election and that staffed the current federal government.
Damn.
I owe so much to Charlie. I've had friends reach out in just the last couple of days.
Crazy. What a nightmare.
Sent me messages, screenshots that they exchanged with Charlie in the run-up to me getting selected by the president as his vice presidential running mate. And it's such an honor to have people show me that Charlie said, we want JD to be the VP nominee. And I just had a conversation with the president.
No,
and I think things are actually going well. I think he's actually going to choose JD Vance. Do you know what it means to me that such a good guy, such a good friend, such a lion and visionary of our movement was advocating for me? So I wanted to use this show today to advocate for Charlie, to talk about him, to talk about what kind of a guy he was, to talk about what kind of a man he was, what kind of a husband and father he was, and to take people, most of them from inside the administration, but some of them from without, who knew Charlie best, and to talk about what he meant to them, what he meant to this administration, and what he meant to the conservative movement. Now, I was very honored a couple of days ago, on September the 11th, 2025, to fly out to Utah, where Charlie was shot and killed, to meet his wife, to meet his mom and his dad, his sister, all just incredible people who didn't deserve to have this happen to them. And I was also honored to be able to take Charlie's remains from Utah to Arizona. It was an amazing, amazing thing. It was heartbreaking, and it was sad, and it was terrible. But what an honor it was for me and my family to be welcomed in to the Kirk inner circle at their moment of grief.
What a
There are a
nightmare.
few things that I want to talk about just from that moment. First of all, when I first met Erica, his lovely wife, and such an incredibly brave soul. I'm not sure if you saw her remarks after Charlie died. If you haven't, I would encourage you to go and see them. Because
Actually
you see
heartbreaking.
this raw grief and incredible courage all in the same moment.
It was really brave of her
right
to
now.
speak
we
like
need
that.
to grieve, but we also need this courage
Right.
moment more than we've ever needed it.
He's right.
She gave me a hug.
You recognize what
and
we're up
she was
against,
heartbroken,
you know?
as of course she would be, and she said that she loved him so much. And I said, Erica, he loved you so much. He died way too young, but he died a happy man because of you, because of the family that you gave him, because of the home and the life that you guys had built together. And we sat for about an hour and we talked about Charlie. And, you know, in these moments, you don't know what to say. I'm a person who literally speaks for a living, and I had no idea what to say.
What could you say?
And I didn't try to console her, because how
God,
can a person who just lost
world.
a loving husband and father? But we just talked about Charlie. We talked about who he was. We talked about some of our favorite stories. We talked about some of his idiosyncrasies and all the things that made Charlie Kirk who he was. And she said something to me that I will never forget. My wife was there. It was just me and my wife on my side, and then a lot of people from the Turning Point's family, a lot of people from Charlie's family. And she said to me that Charlie never raised his voice, that he never cussed at her, that he was never cross or mean-spirited to her. And look, I'm a husband. I'm proud of being a husband. I think that on the great balance of things that I'm a pretty good husband.
All right,
but I can never say
important.
that I was never unpleasant with my wife. I can never say that I've never raised my voice to my wife. Like most husbands, even the good ones, we're sometimes imperfect. And I took from that moment that I needed to be a better husband and I needed to be a better father. Because of all these moments that I shared just in the last few days, the books that I've read to my kids, going up to their bedroom and kissing them and hugging them before bed, I just realized that all of these moments that I get to have, Charlie is not able to have them anymore. And Charlie's kids and his beautiful wife are not able to have them anymore. And maybe the best way that I can contribute and the best way that I can honor my dear friend is to be the best husband that I can be, to be the kind of husband to my wife that he was to his. You know, we talked all the time about the most important thing you could do is not vote for a particular candidate. It was to become, if you were a young man, a husband and a father. He talked about the joy that came from fatherhood, the joy that came from raising a family and being part of their growth and their development and all the incredible things that happen when you get to be a husband and father. And that is the way that I'm going to honor my friend, is to be the very best at that most important job that I can be. But that's not the only way.
He really inspired a generation.
Honor Charlie.
He did.
And there's going to be a lot of discussion over the next 2 hours of this radio program about what exactly that looks like. It's important, and Erica asked me this, to make sure that his movement, the movement that Charlie started, has to keep going. We have to build upon it. We have to add to it. We have to make sure that the next generation of young people feels confident and courageous to speak their mind and to speak the truth.
Yeah, I see a lot of people saying, who takes
over?
over?
About that.
We all
take over. We're going to talk about, why do we do this? Of course, we do this so that we can enact good public policy and take back our country. We're going to talk with senior officials in the administration about what we're trying to do to honor Charlie's legacy in that way. Of course, we have to make sure that the killer is brought to justice. Obviously. And importantly, we have to talk about this incredibly destructive movement of left-wing extremism that has grown up.
I'm so happy he's not a coward.
Years.
So many people are, both sides have issues.
Was killed by we're going to talk about how to dismantle that and how to bring real unity.
Yeah, there's an issue. There's an issue here.
That can only come when we tell the truth and everybody knows that they can speak their mind about the issues of the day without being cut down by a murderer's gun. We're going to talk about all of those things with friends of Charlie, with people in the administration, with people that he knew. You know, on a podcast a couple of months back, Charlie was asked about how he'd want to be remembered if he died. His answer? I want to be remembered for courage, for my faith. That would be the most important thing. The most important thing is my faith, and that was Charlie. And in this dark moment for our country, I think that's the greatest lesson any of us can take from Charlie.
I agree.
To have faith in the Lord and to be bold in how we glorify him. To be bold in our pursuits as Charlie was in his. So that's what we're going to spend a little bit of time doing this afternoon. Keeping this incredible show he created going and hearing from some of the people who were so fortunate to call Charlie a friend. We're going to pay tribute to his courageous legacy, and we're going to commit to keep it forever alive. I'm looking forward to this. Join us.
Yeah, so heartbreaking, man. All right, you can watch the rest on, I'm sure he keeps going. But yeah, no, dude, that's insane. Anyway, Piers Morgan did a debate. We're gonna watch the debate segment of it, where essentially he got a couple left-wing guys, a couple right-wing guys, and the left-wing guys, as far as I understand, are Cenk Uygur. Cenk Uygur is a fat fuck, also known as a Turkish man who comes from an inbred family. He has interesting positions, like he is a supporter of bestiality, literally, openly supporting bestiality, but he's a leftist, and he is being considered as rational by a lot of people because, well, he actually condemns the violence. Now, I'm going to be real here. He's a liar. He's a lying fucking snake pig. All right? He absolutely is. All right? None of these people really condemn the violence. They say they condemn the violence to make it look like their side is not a side of domestic terrorists. They're liars. All of them. Okay? And apparently he gets exposed to his face here. So lock in, boys and girls. It's going to be a fun one.
Well, let me turn now to my panel. A lot of different views here on politics we've all had over many years. I'm sure we're all joined by the same view that this is an absolutely appalling thing to have happened and that the consequence of it could be very far-reaching. Dave Rubin, let me start with you. You know, this is a cold-blooded, deliberate, pre-planned execution of a high-profile conservative who, irony of ironies, was the guy probably leading the charge to sit down with people whose views you don't agree with. In other words, almost the opposite of what this shooter appears to believe that he represented. What is your reaction to it?
Well, Piers, before...
I mean, to be honest, I feel like the obvious reaction is Dave Rubin's a gay man married to another man, all right? And he was friends with Charlie Kirk. If Charlie Kirk was actually the hateful, bigoted, homophobe that everyone labels him as, that hates gay people, I don't think he would be friends with Dave Rubin, a openly gay man. So, to be clear, you killed the best one.
We do the political side of this. I just lost a friend. My friend was assassinated. A man who I spent an awful lot of time with, who I broke bread with many times, who I sat at weddings with, who I toured with and did many of these college shows with. A man who, as I was leaving the left about a decade ago and realizing the hysteria of
Right, dude, was he on the Young Turks? He might have been on his show. He was a lefty, and he moved to the right when the left became completely retarded.
Progressives who welcomed me, even though we had various different opinions on very closely held things like abortion and marriage and taxes and death penalty.
For the record, I agree with Charlie Kirk on all of those things over Dave Rubin. For the record, in case anyone was curious, marriage and abortion and death penalty, yeah, I am more on the Charlie Kirk side of the force here.
And all of these things. And in the 10 years or so that I knew Charlie Kirk, I never had one bad experience with him. I had only good experiences with him. To your point about the political part of this, yes, Charlie was better at reaching across the aisle than anyone. I like to think that I'm pretty good at it, but as an apostate from the left, someone who left the left, in some sense, they want less to do with me than even someone like him. So it became harder for me to reach across the aisle. Charlie spent his...
To be honest, I think the left is, the intellectuals on the left, all right? The intellectuals on the left, they're retarded, and they're never going to change their opinions, ever. Never, for the most part. So I don't think you could ever reach any of them. It's the college kids that are trying to figure shit out, right? It's young men, okay? It's not women, because women fall into their echo chambers, and they don't want to, go against the herd. It's young men that have a shot at seeing things from a different perspective. And that's what Charlie Kirk was targeting, and he was effective, so they killed him.
Life trying to widen the tent that is the conservative movement. He wanted the ex-liberals like me and Elon Musk and Joe Rogan and Tulsi Gabbard and RFK, the thing that Donald Trump represents in a wide tent.
Obviously, this is not all men. Obviously, this is not all women. It's just, statistically.
MAGA movement because it's based in America and freedom. And I don't know anyone, literally anyone on earth who was doing it better than him. So I mourn deeply for my friend, and I mourn for America because in your intro, you laid it out correctly. There's a lot of anger right now. There's a lot of sadness, I can assure you of that, but there's a lot of anger. And I feel it's incumbent on me and hopefully guys like you, Piers, to be a little bit better right now, because otherwise this very precious experiment could veer out of control unbelievably quickly.
I think that's completely right. You and I have talked...
I got mixed feelings. I agree that you need to be in control and you need to call for people to not commit violence, but you also need to seek and destroy, all right? Yeah, you don't make peace with evil, you destroy evil. And there is so much evil, and it needs to be destroyed. I am more than happy to have an honest conversation with literally anybody. But when I see these people cheering, that's evil. It's indefensible, and it's evil, and it's anti-American to its core. Killing a man for freedom of speech is anti-American to its very core. Any person that cheers for that, in my opinion, should be deported if they're not a citizen, and shouldn't be able to vote if they are a citizen. They are so anti-American, they should not have a place in American society. This isn't even coming from basic shit, but this is insane.
Talked a lot about the toxic nature of political discourse. in America. And
Now, I'm going to tell you something about Cenk that a lot of people probably don't know. All right? I've made a video on this a bit ago, but a lot of people are unaware of this. Did you ever hear of Gavin Long? Gavin Long was a terrorist shooter, all right? He shot more than 4. He shot 6 police officers, and I think 4 ended up dying. In Baton Rouge in 2016. After a little bit of digging, it turns out this Gavin Long was a massive fan of the Young Turks. A massive Cenk Younger fan. And in his video, before shooting those cops, he made a video reacting to the Young Turks. And as the Young Turk said, you have to fight back against the police, he said, yes, you have to fight back against the police. Then he went out, ambushed, and murdered 4 police officers. So that is a direct tie to this motherfucker, okay? Now, you can make believe that you don't condone violence, blah, 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 but it's again and again and again, and it's enough.
Been very critical of the woke left, actually, in particular, and the way they've over-demonized everyone, calling everybody Hitler, fascist, and so on. It seems that this 22-year-old shooter had...
And by the way, for the record, just on that story, because I feel like that's relevant in context, do you know what he did when he saw that his hardcore, diehard fan took the advice of his program and murdered a couple of police officers? You know what he did? He copyright struck the killer's videos reacting to him, and then he said he was a right-wing guy. That's what we're dealing with. That's what we're dealing with. Abso-fucking-lutely. And nothing changed. That's what we're dealing with.
You know, anti-fascist insignia on his ammunition. It's pretty clear, I think, that he hated Charlie Kirk and wanted to silence him. You know, we don't know his exact political allegiance.
Dude, everyone that says that's a retard.
That may or may not emerge in the next few hours and days. But certainly, he was behaving like a fascist. You know, a fascist at their heart will stifle dissent by murdering people. And this is exactly what this person has done in the absurd guise of being anti-fascist.
All right, Cenk, you can talk now.
So I think that this is a huge problem in America right now. To the point that Dave's making, look, so Dave changed some of his opinions and didn't change others, right? I didn't change any of my opinions, but Charlie and I had many conversations. He came on the Young Turks at the Republican National Convention and the Democratic National Convention. I went to America Fest. I got a lot of heat for going to America Fest, but the part of that's left out is that Charlie invited me to it. And not because I had changed any of my opinions, but because I hadn't changed any of my opinions. And then once we had those conversations, what we found out was, yes, we still deeply disagree on many things. You know, state of race relations, power dynamics in America. I could go on and on.
Race relations? Dude, he so subtly calls him a racist. He so subtly wants you to think, oh, he's a racist. Yeah, I mean, listen, he shouldn't have died because freedom of speech, but he was a racist.
Right? But it turns out we actually did agree on a bunch of things. Housing, paid family leave, how the American people are being taken advantage of.
Dude, I hate when people do this. It doesn't matter what you agreed with him and didn't agree with him. Why does everyone feel the need to do this shit? It's unbelievable. Hey guys, yeah, he was a racist, but there were some things we agree on even though... Literally, who fucking cares?
By the powerful, corruption, all these things. So you don't get to there unless you have conversations. So I know some on the right certainly were shutting down conversations earlier in my lifetime. Still some today are making that argument. And in their anger today, and then justifiable anger, some were talking about striking back. And then on our side...
Obviously, there should be no striking back. I don't want to see any of these people killed. I do think Cenk Younger should be deplatformed and potentially deported. He has essentially made tons of videos supporting terrorist organizations as deemed terrorists by the United States of America. And also, and I think even more importantly, he, in my opinion, directly incites violence on his channel, talking about how you have to fight back against the cops, you have to fight back against ICE agents, you are anti-American to your core. And while you could put on a suit and you could make believe that, oh, I am against violence, but you are not against violence, you just say that shit. All right? I have no interest in humoring these people anymore. All right? Chunky Yogurt over here, in my opinion, does not deserve the overwhelming empathy that I see outpouring from the right.
Yes, there's way too much censoring, way too much never talk to anyone else. Just stick within your own...
I love how he's not mentioning the fact that he calls people fascists every fucking time. He calls Jews Nazis. All right, he calls everyone in Israel a Nazi. He calls anyone that voted for Trump a Nazi. Dude, this is the dehumanization language that we're dealing with.
Tribe. Well, how are we ever going to heal a country, especially if you're from
heal a country? You don't want to. You want to conquer the country and make it look like the way you want it to.
Guys, we're supposed to be the side that has empathy. I'm not saying the right doesn't. I'm just saying that we...
Well, you clearly don't, because there's millions of you cheering on the death of an innocent man. So you could sell your empathy hoopla, Mr. Horsefucker, all right? You could sell that shit. You don't care. You have no empathy. You launder empathy. You make believe that it's empathy. You make believe that you have it in order to morally grandstand above anybody else. That's your purpose. Absolute fraud.
Historically, have prided ourselves on having empathy and reaching out and having conversations and healing and uniting. So the way that this country is going and both sides are going is a deep, deep problem.
Yeah. Any leftist that takes this opportunity to make it a both sides thing, with all due respect, is retarded. They are. I'm sorry. Look, man. What's the verse? Psalms, I think it's 98 something. 98:2, is it? Like there's a Bible verse for this one. No. Let me see if I can find it. Whatever. I'll find it later.
And one of the issues, Piers, honestly, is media and algorithms. It rewards extremists. And the more extreme you are...
You are extremists, bro! You are extremists! I just made an entire video talking about how he literally supports terrorists. What are we doing?
The more rewarded you are. And so we've got a way to fix that. If we don't fix it, the money and the spinning out of control...
Right, so first things first, your nephew, Hassan Piker, needs to be removed from the country. All right, that's first. All right, that is first. I made a banger Hassan Piker tweet here, basically talking about all of his shit, and Elon Musk saw it, which is great.
I'm sick and tired of it. Left-wingers, liberals, you need to be fucking showing your opponent's guts on there, okay? You need to be gutting them.
Yep, thank you. I'm really glad that you were able to bring that up.
See, mostly watches musicians or...
Great. So I'm really glad we're on the same page here. Your nephew's the problem.
Of both sides' political fervor is going to be an enormous problem for this country. We've got to stop right now. Look, either we could use this moment to hate each other more, or we could use this moment as an inflection point to begin to heal and to unite and realize that we're all Americans together. There's nothing wrong with disagreeing, and we could say that fervently without crossing the line into hating each other, thinking that both sides are Nazis of some sort.
Trump gets elected, and he goes and he loses his mind and says that the right is evil, they're all Nazis and fascists. All right, a leftist, based on leftist rhetoric, murders a innocent man, and it's both sides need to cool down. I think both sides should cool down, guys. But to quote Psalms 37, all right, for those who are evil will be destroyed, but those who hope in the Lord will inherit the land. A little while and the wicked will be no more. Though you look for them, they will not be found. But the meek will inherit the land and enjoy peace and prosperity. The wicked plot against the righteous and gnash their teeth at them, but the Lord laughs at the wicked, for he knows their day is coming. I don't know, man. You could try, but this shit's crazy. All right? Stop with the both sides. All right? The both sides is over.
And you're right, Piers. Even I've gotten called a Nazi by some portions of the left.
I can't believe they would call Cenk Uygur, terrorist supporter extraordinaire, a Nazi.
Disagreeing on trans issues, 5%. No, that's too much, guys. It isn't about me. It's about the hatred that gets built in and entrenched when we can't even talk to the other side and we can't see each other as fellow Americans.
Batty, I want to play a clip. This is of Charlie Kirk on Piers Morgan Uncensored in November 2023. At the time, we just had the start of the Israel-Hamas war. I'd been defending Israel's right to defend itself at that stage. I've obviously become a lot more critical in this year, certainly.
Yeah, we know, Piers. You follow public opinion. We know. We know your shtick. You're like the classic liberal boomer guy that's just going to follow the public opinion as far as you go. Yeah, we know.
But at the time, he talked very pertinently about actually the left, and in particular in relation to campus colleges. Let's take a look.
I'm pretty sure she's a leftist, right? Batia over here.
The very same people who've been behaving in this way, effectively supporting a terror group, have gone out of their way to deplatform and shame and cancel anyone who, mainly on the right, it has to be, so on the conservative side, who've deviated from their worldview. So free speech to them seems a very complex issue.
No, that's right. And look, I mean, we have to be disciplined in how we advocate for dialogue and free speech. And when I go to these college campuses, it's come very clear, and you see this now manifesting in some of the larger censorship regime that is taking over the West, that if a young student finds disagreement with a conservative or somebody on the right, they don't just find the ideas objectionable. Some, in fact, a majority by a recent Pew poll, want to use force to try to silence and stifle and even censor those differing ideas.
It hurts my heart to see him, man. It really does. And obviously he was right.
I mean, how prescient, Batty, those comments seem now, because that's exactly what has happened here. What's your reaction to Charlie's murder, and how do you feel about the way things may go from here?
Thank you so much for having me, Piers. It's obviously still very raw for a lot of us. I'm finding myself very caught between, on the one hand, wanting to honor his legacy of unity through debate and coming together to take down the temperature, and then wanting to honor his legacy of telling the truth. And the truth is, this is not a both sides issue. The killer killed him, according to police reports, because he found Charlie Kirk to be spreading hate. This is a view shared by every single prominent Democrat. Yes, there are people on Blue Sky advocating for violence, but what actually caused this was the utterly quotidian, utterly ubiquitous demonization of the political opposition from the left.
Just facts.
And it has just led to violence, because they said the other side were Hitler and Nazis. They said that speech is violence. To combine those two things together is to sign the death warrant of prominent conservatives. And that is what we are seeing again and again and again. And it is utterly facetious to suggest that there is any comparison between political violence on both sides. Every example they bring is not actually showing that, whether it's Governor Shapiro, whose attempted assassination was from...
Dude, how can you compare that? Governor Shapiro was a left-wing guy that they tried to kill him. But you know who tried to kill him? You know who tried to kill him? An Islamist, pro-Palestine guy. That's not right-wing violence.
A free Palestine leftist.
Oh, get the hell out of here. That's right. That is not, oh, well, they tried to assassinate a Democrat. Yeah. You know who tried to assassinate a Democrat? The leftists. The leftists tried to kill that guy.
Or whether it was the Minnesota assassinations, which were from somebody who said he was operating at the behest of Democrat Governor Tim Walz. There is a culture among Democrats at the highest level to suggest that their political opposition are a danger, and that suggests that their lives are forfeit. And I want to come together.
Every word is correct.
I love what
every word is right. I saw a clip that I found harrowing. All right, like, you will not even be ready to hear this clip. It's so fucking terrifying. It's a clip from Destiny.
You genuinely do hate conservatives, don't you?
Very much so. Like I've moved full on to like the political violence level, or the real violence level, when it comes to conservative people. Yeah, I think they need to be like excised from my fucking country. I think they are demonstrably fucking evil people by any moral system that most people would use. And then I just hate them because they tend to destroy the outcomes related to this country, which is what I'm concerned with. Yeah.
All right, so that was before Charlie Kirk's murder. Guess what he said after Charlie Kirk's murder?
Out the crime statistics? Not exactly like...
You need conservatives to be afraid of getting killed when they go to events, so that they look to their leadership to turn down the temperature. The issue is right now, they don't feel like there's any fear. Like, I don't know. It's like memes. It's just memes to everybody, I guess. I don't know, bro. I don't know.
Yeah, so, anyway, yeah, I feel like you're kind of the demonstrably evil people here, I'm not gonna lie. This really is not a both sides issue. It's not. It's not a both sides issue. It's absolutely not. On the right, there's this fundamental standard that every person is made in the image of God, right? That every human life is inherently valuable, all right? That is a right-wing perspective, all right? That is a right-wing mindset. On the left, there is this dehumanization army that exists, and everyone that calls people Nazis and all the fucking retards that are cheering on his death are making it very obvious.
Shanks said, it brought tears to my eyes. I had to reach for a tissue while you were playing Charlie's words. But at the same time, we cannot unite with people who are lying to our faces about who we are, who will not take responsibility for the fact that they suggested that we are Nazis because of totally legitimate views that reflect the majority of Americans. So what I say is, let the left say we were wrong. It is legitimate to vote for Donald Trump. It is legitimate to be pro-life.
That's right.
It is legitimate to believe that there are only two genders. And we were wrong to suggest that that was not the case. We were wrong to say that that is hateful. When they say that, I am waiting with open arms to take down the temperature.
Lewis Goodall, you are on the left.
She fucking cooked, by the way. She ate him up. She ate up this fat fuck. Look at this fucking greasy fat little piglet over here. She fucking destroyed him. Holy shit.
And the one thing that's really struck me about this...
They won't, by the way. They won't. Because there is a subset of the left. This isn't like the whole left, obviously. Because a lot of people are on the left for, you know, financial reasons. Or financial perspectives or whatever. Or different ideas. But I'll be real. I'll be honest. There's a problem. And I do believe that there is a percent of people on the left. A percent of people... like, not a negligible percent, by the thousands that we see cheering on the murder of an innocent man, that cannot be reasoned with, that are domestic terrorists in our nation.
I don't dispute for a moment that there are people on the far right that commit a lot of acts of violence and can be equally hateful.
Oh my God. Of course, dude has to immediately do the both sides shtick because he's a complete fraud. Yes, you're right. People do violence all over the place. Yes, people do violence. You know who does the most violence in America? Specifically, dangerous violence? Black people. That's a fact. It's a statistical fact, okay? That 6% of the population, black males, commit over 50% of the murders in the country. All right, so I hope you're enjoying the fucking fence that you're sitting on, but, like, you don't have to do that.
Personal view. But I have been truly shocked, genuinely truly shocked, by the sheer enormity of brazen, dehumanized calls on social media from people on the woke left, the sort of far left, which has been calling themselves progressive, but in my view are the opposite. But how they've reacted to Charlie Kirk's death, we've got a little mashup of some of it.
Yeah, I've seen these already.
Ding dong, the witch is dead. We think that Charlie Kirk just got shot in the neck. Hey, ooh.
I would say pour one out for Kirky boy, but I don't waste good beer on little bitches.
Charlie Kirk just got put down like a fucking dog in Utah, and I could not be happier.
I will not ever feel bad when bad people get what the fuck they deserve.
Fucking stoked right now? You wanna know why I'm so fucking stoked?
Fucking yeah!
CK got AK'd, and he's gone.
He did say that gun deaths were an acceptable side effect of gun rights.
I mean, he didn't say that. That's taken out of context, but okay.
We got Charlie and
Yeah, no, so I have a very different perspective than I think anybody else. Charlie Kirk died for freedom of speech. He died fighting on the front lines of freedom of speech. And freedom of speech is exposing the leftists as a domestic terrorist organization. I'll be real, if not for the thousands of people cheering and yelling and celebrating, if not for all of these people, we wouldn't know exactly what we were dealing with. We wouldn't know that this is a fight of good versus evil. Then you could make the argument it's a couple of mentally ill people, but no. We are noticing. We are noticing the middle-class, white people, cringe, woke, gay-ass motherfuckers that are coming out here, the liberal women in society, and no, it's great. It's great. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Freedom of speech really works. It really does. Freedom of speech is actually kind of awesome, I've noticed. Not only does it let you say what you feel, but it lets you understand what you're up against. They tell you who they are. So Charlie died, essentially not only galvanizing the right, but completely exposing the left. And also, shout out to every single one of these people that lost their jobs. Good. That's not cancel culture. You are a threat to America.
There are hundreds, thousands maybe, more examples like
thousands.
this. But we've seen teachers.
Many thousands. Over 40,000 people that have already lost their jobs. Good. Absolutely good.
We've seen hospital executives. We've seen people who want to run places like, the Oxford University Union, for example, and so on, all coming out with similar gleeful celebration.
I made a tweet. I made a tweet that I think is completely correct, and a lot of people thought it was actually correct also. Let me get there. Let me show you. All right. Yeah, let's see. So, all right. Millions of tolerant psychopaths are terrified that they're losing a game they've designed the rules for. Cancel culture, right? So this is a tweet saying, cancel culture is good now with 140,000 likes. All right? I come bearing fantastic news. Cancel culture that you did such a great job designing was created to oppress and ruin the lives of people with opinions you hated or jokes that offended you. What's happening to you is not cancel culture. This is acknowledging that you are a public safety threat. We don't want teachers that support the murder of an innocent father teaching our children. We don't want 911 responders celebrating the assassination of a political commentator responsible for keeping us safe. We don't want nurses justifying the killing of an innocent man they don't like, deciding on whether we deserve their medical care. These are very reasonable steps to prevent you from killing us and celebrating our demise. Thank you for designing the cancel culture infrastructure. We'll make the most of it. No, so I actually completely agree with me. I agree with me. I'm right, actually, it turns out.
At the murder of a 31-year-old father of 2 young children. I find it utterly despicable, but also quite terrifying, actually, that they're so brazenly doing this.
It's wonderful. It's amazing that they're doing this. I'm so happy that they're doing it instead of just thinking it. The terrorists are basically telling us that they're terrorists instead of doing what they usually do and hide in civilian clothing like the terrorists that Cenk supports in the Middle East. No, it's really nice of them, actually. It's really nice of them to go mask off like this. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Is your reaction to that?
Well, Piers, my reaction is that I think it's reprehensible. And I think it is part of a much wider pattern of behavior.
Because these tweets, thousands of people made these videos. Millions of people left likes on these videos. And I think that the government needs to pay attention to who's leaving likes on what. If you are using your social media account to push a message that terrorism in the United States is a good thing, I do believe the all-seeing eye of Palantir should be looking up your anus. I do think you shouldn't sleep comfortably at night. You are a threat to our country, directly. And I have no interest in the both sides shit.
Driven by partly social media, but in particular the hyper-polarization of American politics, which is part of a big trend.
No, sorry. Opinion rejected. Polarization. That's code for Trump's fault.
Of legitimizing violence, of making violence.
So what do you mean? Who's legitimizing violence on the right? Has any person on the right legitimized violence? Dude, the left cheered when Luigi Mangione killed the healthcare CEO. All right, the largest leftist political streamer has directly called to violence against multiple people, told his audience to kill landlords, fascists, Zionists. He directly makes direct calls to violence to straight up tell his audience to kill Tom Cotton, a senator of the United States, Rick Scott, a senator of the United States. He justifies the assassination of Charlie Kirk. He refuses to condemn the murder of 2 Israeli staffers in Washington, D.C., right? Like, dude, what are we talking about? Is there anyone on the right that does this? Anyone? Anyone? Dude, there is no equivalence here. Nick Fuentes, who in my opinion is probably the most far-right public figure, all right, has never called for violence on anyone. Never. There is no equivalence. None. There is no equivalence. But January 6th happened. There was a protest. The gayest protest of all time at the Capitol building. That's right. That's right. You know what they did? They broke a window. You know, they broke a window.
An acceptable means of prosecuting your politics. Where I would disagree, possibly with you, possibly with other members of the panel, is that this is somehow just confined to the left, or the idea
it is. It is largely confined to the left. You're right.
This is just happening on the left. Yes, there have been examples of that. We've just seen it just now. I was disgusted at the reaction to what happened with Luigi Mangione earlier in the year.
You know who wasn't disgusted? Thousands of leftists that did Free Luigi riots and protests. That Hassan Piker, who supports Luigi Mangione. Again, I don't care about any of these people. I don't care about any of these people.
Yeah, very similar sort of phenomenon.
Yeah.
But let's see where it's happened in other parts of the right. Do you remember what happened with Paul Pelosi, for example? Nancy Pelosi's husband.
Dude, every single one of these people is insane.
What was the reaction of not just some random left-wing accounts, not some teacher, not whatever.
Oh my God, there were tweets. I saw some tweets.
Donald Trump Jr. He decided to put out a picture of a hammer and some underpants and say, I've got my Paul Pelosi Halloween costume tonight. This is the...
Do you realize that these people tried to jail Trump for 700 years in the most unconstitutional, justice system malevolence of all time in the history of time? Like, what are we talking about?
Wider...
Also, no one is condoning the murder of Paul Pelosi.
Legitimization of violence that we're seeing. And let's just have a look. I mean, let's talk about some...
He was almost killed to death.
Twitter, some stuff I've seen on Blue Sky, some stuff I've seen on X over the course of the last 24 hours. Liberals can never be allowed to run this country again. How can you coexist with people that want to murder you. If you vote Democrat at this point, you're a demonic, evil person. I will support whatever saves our country. Trump has a blank check as far as I'm concerned. I could go on.
What is wrong with any of that? What is wrong with any of that? Again, I don't support the idea that Trump is a blank check or you are automatically an evil person if you vote for the Democrat, but I totally understand the perspective. What do you mean? There are thousands of you that are cheering the assassination of a man for speaking his opinions. You are a demonstrably evil party right now.
And I could go on. And I could give a list of all of the many occasions we've seen in recent years.
Of course, everyone needs to do the both sides. Yes, I know our rhetoric just murdered a man and thousands justify his death, but I really think this is a right-wing problem.
Of right-wing, hard right, far-right terrorism that we saw against what happened in Minnesota. I mentioned Paul Pelosi, Josh Shapiro.
That's not what happened in Minnesota. Far-right. The guy in Minnesota that killed those Democrat lawmakers was a Democrat. Was a guy who says he was friends with Tim Walz, who Tim Walz was friend with, who also, by the way, had the No Kings flyers for the No Kings rally in his car, all right, when he went and murdered these people. Okay, he was a leftist that killed those people. And you know why he did it? Because the two Democrats were pro-life, all right? So two Democrats just did a vote where they went against the majority of their party and they got murdered by a Democrat, okay? What are you talking about? He was appointed to a political position previously by Tim Walz, the guy who was supposed to be the retard that was vice president under Kamala Harris. Like, also, you're comparing the assassination of Charlie Kirk to people saying, I would never vote Democrat? This statement, I would never vote Democrat, in your mind is as violent and evil as murdering Charlie Kirk? Dude, this is why people are waking up and realizing that these people are evil.
In fact,
there is no equivalence. There is no two sides. There's good and evil right now. All right? Stop it. Stop being a bitch.
Agree with just as a matter of fact, investigators found in the Shapiro case online activity and writings that included extreme right-wing, anti-Semitic conspiracy theories.
Yes, because it was a Muslim, you fuck! What are we doing? It was a radical Muslim that tried to kill Josh Shapiro, okay? Josh Shapiro was a left-wing guy. They tried to kill him. You know who tried to kill him? A radical Muslim. So yes, anti-Semitic conspiracy theories, no fucking shit. Are you retarded? Are you insane? A radical Muslim that tried to kill him for the Free Palestine grift. That's left-wing violence. Wait, you think that because there is left-wing terrorism, that means we don't believe in Islamic terrorism anymore? I'm sorry, bro. There's a reason why the left and Islam get along so well these days. The unholy tag team, baby. What are we doing? And again, it's radicals on both sides, obviously. But what the fuck are you talking about? Like, this is what we have to deal with. This is what we have to deal with. They have to invent instances of right-wing terrorism to make it a both sides situation.
And rhetoric against Shapiro, who is, of course, Jewish and a Democrat, and in Michigan.
Yes, and it was a leftist that tried to kill him because he was a Free Palestine guy. Yes, just like how Hassan Piker incites violence, in my opinion, against Ethan Klein, who's a leftist and a Democrat, because he's pro-Israel. Well, he's not even pro-Israel, but because he's not pro-terrorism, it's the same shit. This is insane. It's insane watching these leftoids dancing on this grave.
And even in the last 24 hours or so, what do we see from Laura Loomer on Ilhan Omar, the Democratic Congresswoman, Laura Loomer being a very senior MAGA person? At the end of the day, everyone needs to realize that Ilhan Omar is a bloodthirsty Muslim terrorist sympathizer who has no place in our country.
Look, I'm not a big Laura Loomer fan, but where's the lie? She was literally laughing after Charlie Kirk was murdered. Well, she was literally laughing after Charlie Kirk was murdered. She directly supports Hamas, openly. She refuses to condemn Hamas terrorists. Where's the lie?
Her presence in Congress is a national security threat, and she's an enemy from within. So,
I mean, I agree. She is. True. Yeah, what's the point?
Please, the idea that there is some...
Does he really think this is... He really thinks that this is going to get me to say that he's right? Some
sort of asymmetry on this. The fact of the matter is, America and indeed the UK...
You know that Ilhan Omar is a Somalian lady that married her brother to get him illegally into the country. She is anti-white, anti-American filth. What are we doing? Really? You're really trying this, bro?
As well, we've got into a really negative cycle here where basically the temperature goes up and it goes up and it goes up. And then sometimes some of the people who are responsible for that...
Democrats. Murder Charlie Kirk. Also Democrats. Yo, you should lower the temperature, guys.
Turn around and go, God, I can't believe it's so hot in here. Everyone needs to pull back from the brink. Social media needs to actually be reformed. And
what does that mean? What does reformed mean? Does that mean silencing freedom of speech? Is that what reformed means?
To be changed. Elon Musk has been pretty responsible for some of this stuff that we've seen as well.
Oh, Elon Musk caused the Democrats on Blue Sky to cheer for the murder of Charlie Kirk. Oh, Elon Musk did that, right? The people that left Twitter and went to Blue Sky that are cheering the murder, that's Elon Musk's fault.
So let's not pretend. If we pretend that this is just a problem of the left or of liberalism or of wokeism or whatever you want to say, this problem is not going to be any better or get any better.
Right.
Let's use this as a moment for all of us.
I'm really glad when people do this because they really they make it very obvious and very clear. Now, obviously, there are bad people on the right, just like there's bad people on the left. Every human is an individual, all right, with our individual choices and our individual issues. All right, this is all true, okay, for sure. But I'm not playing the two sides game anymore. I don't actually care. This is evil shit, man. It really is.
To look within ourselves and decide to be better.
Okay, well, we've been joined on the panel by PBD Podcast's Angry Patriot, Vincent Oshana. Vinny, great to have you back on our show. I'm sorry it's in such awful circumstances.
Right, I didn't recognize him in the beginning. He's the Patrick Bet-David guy. He's pretty cool from what I've seen of him. I don't really know him.
We're talking on this Friday. But your response to what Lewis Goodall's just said, that this is a problem on all sides, that political violence has been ratcheting up and that there's a collective issue that needs to be dealt with.
Well, Piers, thank you for having me, and hello to everybody on the panel. Piers, I'm sorry, but trying to compare a photo of a Pelosi hammer for a Halloween thing to somebody getting shot in the neck in front of his family at a campus is unbelievable. The fact that you're trying to make the two comparison is absurd. Okay, and if we want to, since you're on the left and you have those beliefs, give me something that the left is positive about. Because from what we're seeing, they're pro-abortion, they're pro-celebrating.
I want to make this clear. I think this is something that I've been saying for a really long time. Everyone that makes the argument that the right is bad and they dehumanize the left just like the left dehumanizes the right is not true. Because the right wing, obviously not everyone on the right, but a very popular right wing perspective is that abortion is murder. So from the perspective of the people that say abortion is murder, the left is literally committing a Holocaust every year, murdering 1 million babies a year. And still, despite the fact that a lot of people see it that way, they don't dehumanize you. Recognize what you're dealing with. I personally think that abortion is murder, and I don't dehumanize the people that are pro-abortion. I am not dehumanizing 1 million child murderers a year because I think that they're misguided and stuff like that. But to how dare you make this comparison?
Assassination, they're pro-open border. Give me something positive that the left is running on. Because at the end of the day, the Democrats, 35-year low approval rating. And Piers, I have to go a little bit deeper. This isn't about left. This isn't about right. Charlie was a proponent. He was a Christian praising Jesus Christ everywhere that he went. And I think that's where we are, Piers. Ephesians chapter 6, verse 12 says, "For we not wrestle with flesh and blood." Piers, it's principalities, it's evil, it's dark forces
I actually
in high
agree with
places.
Him.
And
Look, I'm not a Christian. I do agree with him. I really do. I believe in God. I believe that Charlie went fighting for God, and I believe they killed him because he fought for God. And I think it's literally that simple. I think it's good versus evil. I don't think this is a policy dispute. And I think it's really obvious.
It drives me crazy, Piers, that we've gotten to this point. And when Tim Walz and these people are like, well, I woke up, I wanted to hear bad news. Hearing TMZ lying when their freaking people are back there cheering of a murder of a guy that did what, Piers? He went to college campuses. He was peaceful. He just wanted to have a debate, a conversation. And it is the left. Okay, when Joe Biden got diagnosed with colon.
Such a good example. When he was diagnosed with cancer, people on the right said thoughts and prayers. People on the left cheered because he wasn't leftist enough.
Cancer. Who was celebrating? Who? What? How many thousands of people?
That's right. It was the leftists that were celebrating Joe Biden getting cancer. It was the Hassan Pikers.
People were out there praying and hoping for this guy to recover. Okay, no, there's something that's captured, Piers. That image, that montage that you played, did you see the eyes of these people?
Yeah.
They are captured by something dark, and they don't even know it, Piers. That's where we are. And I want to say something, Piers, before I give it back. Charlie was not murdered. He was martyred. And I want to say this in the Bible, and I'm sorry, I never was this guy, Piers, but we're at the tipping point. We are here. We have to understand that it's God or you're on the opposite side. And Revelation chapter 6, verse 9, 10 basically says, When a martyr's blood hits the throne of heaven, it turns the vengeance of the king towards the evil ones on earth. So for all the people that want to get mad and do something, stay calm and be easy, because God at the end of the day, Piers, has vengeance on all these people that are spilling innocent blood.
Are you really saying that the American right, the Trump right, MAGA, has not got a problem with political violence?
Are you comparing? By the way,
I love when they do this. They just expose themselves. They do it for us. God has exposed all of these fools, man. He literally has. Every single one of these guys. Oh my God.
No, I'm asking whether
you have 10 years. Hold on. Are you comparing the two? Hold on. I'm not saying that the right doesn't get violence, but show me where they're celebrating the murder of a father on a campus. Give it to me. Who celebrate Luigi Mangione, where he's in magazines and girls want to marry him and want to be with him?
No, you just have the president of the United States.
Oh, you just have January 6th.
You just have the president of the United States' son,
who posted a tweet of a hammer on Halloween. It's the same.
Tweeting out a picture of a hammer, making fun of a guy who nearly got killed because of a right-wing maniac. Please do not tell me that somehow one side is more morally superior than the other.
Again, you have to realize Donald Trump Jr. making that tweet, that is one guy making a tweet, which was a picture, a joke. But by the way, thank God, Paul Pelosi wasn't murdered. You can't compare these situations at all. Dude, do you remember when Donald Trump almost got assassinated and everyone was like, oh, shame he missed? Everyone, dude. Holy fuck. And also, the guy that attacked Paul Pelosi was not a Trump supporter.
This is not...
No.
And just while we're talking about violence, what about January the 6th?
January the 6th! There was a protest! They broke a window!
January the 6th.
Dude, that's why no one can take these people seriously. Bro, Charlie Kirk gets murdered. Charlie Kirk gets murdered. The people on the right in the country come together. The churches are filled. People are praying. Stuff like that. People are trying to become better people. All right. George Floyd dies of a fentanyl overdose, and they burned our country down and didn't prosecute any of the people that basically did that. Come on, dude. What are we doing, guys?
Where a MAGA mob decided to try to use violence to overthrow democracy.
Overthrow democracy. Dude, we're not still playing this game.
How many people died?
Bro, dude, again, and who is bringing in the millions of illegal immigrants that are voting in elections? Is that not stealing democracy? Dude, can you fucking... suck on a knob, bro, dude. I don't know. Your boyfriend is very disappointed in you right now.
How many people, excuse me, since you're such an American historian, how many people died on January 6th? One, Ann Babbitt, a United States Air Force, excuse me, let me finish. A United States Air Force veteran got shot subsequently in her freaking neck. Hold on, why? Because she was unarmed and she was advancing to a hall. Please, I'm 100% with you. I don't condone any violence, but the comparison...
Let's have some statistics. I have these generic statistics that say that right-wing violence is big. It's been designed by retards, but I trust them.
...is not even close to what the left does. They promote it.
Let's have some statistics from your...
our own government, where Ahmad Abid Abdul is a white man.
Own government. These are your own government statistics. Now, I know you might not want to listen to the facts, but this is the facts. A study from...
These people are so smug. Imagine being so smug after your people just killed a man and everyone celebrated. Like, dude, this is demonic shit.
U.S. government itself says that the majority of political violence in the United States occurs from the right, not the left.
Oh, a generic statement with no source. Very cool. Love that.
From the right. We have all...
Again, this is not true. It's so obviously not true because they label things as political violence when they're not, and they don't label things as political violence when they are. In my opinion, all the looting, all of the destruction of property, the lighting shit on fire, the attacking cops during every riot and every protest in LA with Mexico protesting and over the George Floyd BLM riots, in my opinion, all that is political violence, but they don't count any of it. All right? Like, dude, none of this matters. All right? George Floyd dies of fentanyl overdose, and that's a hate crime, and they burn the country down. Irina Zarutska gets stabbed by a black man on a train that says, I got that white girl, and they don't count that as a hate crime. It was just a mentally unwell individual. There is no point to you listing statistics All right, this is a left manipulated statistic. All right, this is why you can't trust the media or the country. And we have eyes, so we know this is a lie.
Also seen in my own country what happened with the assassination of Labour MP Joe Cox. We saw what happened in Norway with Anders Behring Breivik. All violence on the right. I do not say, as you seem to say, sir, that one side or other is morally superior to the other. I do not say...
I do. I say one side is more morally superior to the other. We saw thousands of demons cheering that Charlie Kirk was murdered. One side is morally superior, actually. You don't have to be such a fucking retard and say that, well, morality is subjective, and therefore, due to subjective morality, I think that, Hitler had a pretty good point. He was pretty good to dogs. That's what you're saying right now. All right? No one cares. One side is morally superior. Sorry, bro.
That there will not be political violence on one side or the other. What seems, and I find curious, is your belief, your fervor, that somehow one side of this debate is uniquely morally repugnant and one is superior.
One is superior, true. It's true, you're right.
Statistics are wrong. That's not right. Doesn't support what you're saying. And the fact...
Your statistics are lies. What are we doing, guys? What are we fucking doing?
After fact after fact, and occasion after occasion after occasion shows the same thing. And like I say, January the 6th itself was literally the legitimization from your side of political violence at the highest of levels. And what did John...
Bro, what the fuck are we doing? Like, he's playing the left game so well, but everyone knows the truth. This is amazing. Dude, thank you. Operation Let Him Speak. Bro, the devil has picked the weakest soldiers. Bro, devil, you picked all the gay ones? Thank you.
Trump do? When he got back into office, he pardoned them all, sending a message that political violence is fine.
Were you, excuse me, are you in the United States? Are you an American citizen?
I just returned from the United States, but I don't need to be in the United States to know what happened on the 6th.
Are you an American citizen?
No, with the price of fish.
Are you an American citizen?
Nope.
No, I want to ask you a question, because you're looking down here reading stats and facts, and I don't know where the hell your sources are from. But guess what? As an American, from seeing what they did, excuse me, I let you talk. Please let me talk. Okay? From what you mean to tell me what the left, your darling left, has done to the Republican Party and Donald Trump alone for 10 years, the calling for violence, the Hitler, like Batya said, all the negative rhetoric, to the impeachments, to shooting him in the head, and him saying, I want peaceful protesting, and then the FBI informants, all the confidential human resources inside the freaking crowd of January 6th. That's a whole different argument, debate that you don't want to get into. But as an American who lives in America and is a veteran, we see what's happening. I don't care about your ChatGPT.
We have eyes. We have eyes. It doesn't matter if ChatGPT uses leftoid sources to cook up and shit out some fake statistics. We don't care anymore. We literally have eyes. Bro is literally telling you the George Orwell 1984. Do not believe your lying eyes.
These stats, the left
don't care about
the
facts.
party inciting the violence and calling...
Don't care about facts, I say, as I hunch my neck over and allow myself to get absolutely butt-fucked by illegal immigrants in my country.
The problem.
Okay, I want to bring in another guest now who will then join the panel for the rest of the show. Confronting, author and host of...
Yeah, I like Constantine. I like him a lot, actually. I think he's great.
Trigonometry. Constantine, I've seen from your posts that you've been very personally affected by the death of Charlie Kirk. Where does this horrific murder leave us in relation to political discourse and the safety of public figures as a consequence?
Do you know, Piers, I don't know if I've been personally affected, but I know that I've received messages from hundreds of people at this point, ordinary people, many of them nothing to do with politics, never paid attention to politics, never really cared, who were horrified and shocked by this in a very profound way. And I think it's a number of things. You've just had this very fierce discussion about political violence, and we're talking about politicians. But people forget that Charlie was not a politician.
True.
This is a 31-year-old guy who went around college campuses.
Yeah, I said
and now
this. We're kind of used to political assassinations. I know that's a horrible thing to say, but this happens all around the world for as long as history. For all of human history, there were political assassinations where people tried to kill Trump multiple times, and people kind of just ignore it. Multiple presidents were murdered and assassinated. They killed a guy on a campus talking to people. That is the level of dehumanization we got to. He didn't have any power over policy, all right? But none of that mattered.
2 young children. I mean, I was putting my son to bed last night and I was thinking of his kids.
True. Oh, Lord.
And I know that millions of people around the world are thinking about that because they didn't see Charlie as a politician. Because I guess with America's history of political violence, all the way back to Abraham Lincoln,
True.
We kind of...
Killed by a Democrat.
Know that these things can happen. But I think what this has done is it's taken violence into a whole new realm. It's taken violence into the realm of people who just have conversations for God.
Trump voters. When you call all Trump voters Nazis, Well, are we that surprised?
Sake. And I think this changes everything in a very profound way.
I agree.
Of course, it has the potential to chill the debate, to scare people away from saying the things that they believe, the things that they think are important to say. I hope that doesn't happen. I know that my experience and the experience of many other people who do speak in public over the last few days has been a shock and horror and perhaps fear too that has morphed into resolve. And an unwillingness to let this become the way that our conversations become silent, which I think is what Charlie would have wanted. But as for the debate we've just heard, look, I'm in a very conciliatory mood, and I think it's important that we're all responsible with our words. But I found it difficult to sit there and listen to.
I'm also in a conciliatory mood. I really am. I am giving the ultimate olive branch to basically every single person, even if I immensely disagree with them, as long as they simply have a little bit of humanity in them. This is my conciliatory mood, all right? I think that even though I, vehemently disagree with people like Nick Fuentes or whatever, I would be so much happier to join forces with someone like that who, will eulogize Charlie Kirk. Even though we hated him, he will eulogize Charlie Kirk. And I would feel so much more human. That's the craziest part. That's the absolute most insane part of all of this. People that are fighting, it's really good and evil. It's really good and evil. It's not politics anymore.
This preposterous conversation you've just had. I don't understand this time last year, I sat across from one of your guests, Cenk, on that particular occasion, in which he tried to persuade me for 20 minutes that Donald Trump was a fascist.
There it is. And he does it every show.
That's how the left talks about their political opponents. And I'm someone who's not politically affiliated. I'm just looking at the facts of what I see. We have had for the last 10 years, what has happened to the word Nazi as a result of the woke left's behavior is completely unacceptable. This is a word that we had for a very specific group of people that was supposed to describe people who believe in National Socialism and fascism. These words have very specific meanings, and the meanings that they had were very important for being...
in my opinion, the left has been on a crusade to destroy language for the longest time. Because, again, I think, I think that it truly is an inverse of basic biblical values on every possible way. Every possible way on the far left at this point. And I think the most obvious example is the way they destroy words. Because obviously God chooses his words very carefully, and they will literally contort and confuse the meanings of words to fit whatever narrative they have as often as they want. And I think the most obvious one is transphobia. All right, phobia is an irrational fear. No one has an irrational fear of trans people. That's not a thing. Homophobia. No one has an irrational fear of gay people. All right, so that's insane. It's Islamophobia. The fear for radical Islam is not irrational. All right, we have to stop, and you have to realize these are words that they've appropriated and wormed into our actual public discourse. Every single word is literally contorted to frame you as something that you're not.
To describe people who are actually of that opinion, and instead, both in America and here across the Atlantic in Britain, we've had, and we're not talking about people on Twitter or people on Blue Sky. I'm talking about David Lammy, who's the current deputy prime minister, talking about a group of conservative Eurosceptics and saying they're worse than Nazis.
There was just a riot, a protest, no violence. All right, there was a protest in England. 3 million people in England, talking about how they want less immigration and stuff like that. They called all of them Nazis. The 3 million Nazis on our streets. The retards in the government were saying, what are you doing?
Had this for a whole decade now. The complete dehumanization of people for simply having political disagreements. And so when I see that the killer of Charlie Kirk had these so-called anti-fascist inscriptions on his ammunition, I'm not surprised. I'm not shocked. Of course this would happen. And people like to pretend that this has no consequence. Well, think about it, Piers. You're a man. I'm a man. If you and I thought that fascism was actually here, as we keep being told, wouldn't it be our duty to stand up and fight? So can we really be surprised when some deranged...
They all justify a revolution in every possible way. They justify violence as much as they can, and then they say, oh, but I don't condemn violence, so they don't actually get in trouble. And we need to start actually seeing what their words are saying and not what their fucking disclaimers are.
Guy picks up a rifle and shoots someone who people on the media, people on TV keep saying is a fascist.
Like, this is literally a drug dealer that's dealing drugs, that's telling you all the good reasons why you should be taking drugs, and then right before you actually use the drugs, disclaimer, drugs are bad for you.
Keep saying is a Nazi is completely irresponsible. And I'll just make one other point on this, because, you know, we've had this conversation. Lewis has talked about, well, there's violence on the left and violence on the right. He's right, of course. There are deranged people on both sides. In a country with easy access to firearms, there will be that sort of violence like we've seen in our country. It's not just Joe Cox who's been killed in this country. We also had Sir David Ames, an MP, be killed in Britain too. And he was a member of the Conservative Party, killed by an Islamist. And on we go. But there's one thing that
an Islamist, that doesn't count as a leftist according to the left. They like that game a lot. They like that game a lot.
Noticed a great mentor of mine once told me, he said, Konstantin, the greatest insights come from looking at what is not there. And the one thing I have noticed that hasn't been there in my mind, you tell me if this is different for you, Piers, over the last few days, I've had no expectation that there would be burning, looting, riots in the streets, attacks on police officers across America or the rest of the West. We haven't seen any of that.
I told you this guy's great.
We haven't expected any of that. And that's because political violence has been normalized on these far extremes of the left. And when you see those people celebrating, what they are expressing is now a widely held opinion, particularly
that they should kill you and justify your death too.
Among young people on the woke left, that if they don't agree with somebody, if they're not getting their way politically, they're entitled to use violence to achieve their ends. We took cancel culture away from them when Elon Musk took over X and opened up the conversation and forced other social media platforms to open up the conversation. So now instead of using cancel culture, we've got violence culture. And everybody has to pull back. And I'm not calling for any kind of censorship, because censorship will not solve this. But the people who have spent the last decade calling their political opponents fascist, Nazis, and so on, they have blood on their hands, and they need to look in the mirror now and stop.
Yeah, I mean, Dave Rubin, I've been on this theme for a long time on this show. And I've got a book called, ironically, Woke is Dead, coming out next month. And one of the themes of the book is how radicalized so many on the woke left have become. And I don't for a moment dispute there are people radicalized on the right. But as somebody who used to identify quite happily as a liberal, I found myself completely disassociated from the woke left in a way I just never thought possible, where people on supposedly my side would start to become science deniers, biology deniers, but also develop this incredibly hateful mindset that if you didn't go along with everything that they believed, you would be cancelled.
Dude, it's complete and utter moral, ethical decay and hypocrisy, okay? People like still giving them credit. It's like, well, listen, they have their ideas. No. It is complete moral decay. It is fundamentally adverse to the values of the foundation of the Western civilization. That's what we're dealing with. Ultimately pure anti-West ideology. And I don't know why people are taking it seriously and making believe that it's not evil.
You'd be destroyed, you'd be shamed, you'd be vilified. And now, as we've seen with Charlie Kirk, you will actually be murdered in cold blood simply for having opinions that they don't like. It is, as I said at the start of this, it's unnerving. It's quite scary, actually. And when you see those TikTok videos of them so proudly talking about this, joyously celebrating a murder like that, I really do fear about what is going on.
Well, Piers, it's not even that it's about his actual opinions. It's about the opinions that many thought leaders on the left purport that which are complete lies.
That's right.
So look, I am in somewhat of a reconciliatory mode here. So I'd like to ask Cenk. I have 10 he has put up about Charlie Kirk. They are on his channel right now, and let's see if Cenk believes that these are true. Charlie Kirk says prominent black women took white people's spots. Charlie Kirk boasts about his all-white basketball team. Charlie Kirk gives piggish advice to high school girls. Ex-employee exposes Charlie Kirk's grift. Charlie Kirk embarrasses himself. Charlie Kirk's brain melts explaining anti-vax conspiracy. Charlie Kirk rants about women in their 30s. Charlie Kirk has literally no clue how the real world works. Charlie Kirk gets triggered, declines appearance over pronouns. Charlie Kirk doubles down on women-hating backlash. I am telling you, Piers, Charlie Kirk was one of the best human beings I ever met. He did not have a bone of racism, misogyny, or anything else in his body. But liars lie, and they
shit.
gin up
True.
otherwise good people. From the
True.
little bit we know about this shooter, he had a stable household, he was going to college, he was fine. We'll find out where he got radicalized. But please, please, let's not pretend we don't know where this stuff is coming from. And please, let's not pretend that this thing is going both ways. Because
Dude, I am so glad he's doing this. Absolutely agreed.
Absolutely not. I also
Correct.
Well, you know what, Cenk? I'll ask you a question directly, actually. Do you think Charlie wanted to be martyred? Do you think Charlie wanted to be martyred? Do you think Charlie wanted to be killed? Yes or no?
Pretty good question.
Of course not. What kind of asinine question is it?
Please pull up the clip. Pull up the fucking clip. I know the clip. I know the clip.
Oh,
good.
You don't, because that's pretty interesting. Because here's a video of you, Cenk, talking when Charlie was at a breakfast.
For these guys, and they don't deserve it. But I do also want to point out, as they're in the middle of crying now, although Charlie was smiling ear to ear throughout the entire video, thinking, yes, I'm now the victim, and I'll get to claim that my rights have been abridged.
Did you catch the beginning of that, Cenk? Listen, we'll do it again.
No, I didn't, and that's totally out of. No, we're not going to do it again. Totally out of context. I don't even know what the hell you're talking about.
No. Listen.
This was an Antifa people threatening him with violence, I'm pretty sure. All right, Cenk. Fuck you, man. Like, literally fuck you so hard. This is cinema. This is beautiful. This is in context, you fat, greasy, inbred fuck. Unbelievable. Holy fucking shit.
Are you trying to harm on me? Is that what you're trying to do?
Harm on you? You call for violence on your show all the time. I made an entire video where you directly inspired the murderer of 4 police officers. Directly, your show. Directly. The guy reacted to your video and repeated the words that were said on your network, and then went out and murdered 4 people.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
No. I'm trying to
do conciliation.
What people like you
look at the last
done.
Conciliation is a scam. You don't make peace with evil, you destroy it. You are straight up, in my opinion, promoting terrorism on your show. Holy, this is unreal. Incredibly based Dave Rubin moment, holy shit.
Things that you're the last two
Piers. No, what they said was, yes, we should have reconciliation, but it is not without any contrition, right? It's not without a mea culpa. Charlie was accosted by Antifa at a breakfast in Philadelphia, and the video that I just played is you with a cartoon of him as Charlie Brown saying that he would love to be martyred so he could be the victim. Well, I guarantee you, his wife, who now doesn't have a husband, and his father did not want him to be martyred. Well, it's exactly what you said, but it's exactly what it was. Let's do it again.
No, it isn't.
Let's do it.
Yell so that they don't hear the video, Cenk. Yell. Squeal, in fact.
We just heard it. We just heard it.
It's not.
All right, so
it's not.
No,
let's do it again.
Cut this crap out.
Come on,
no,
we'll do it again.
Piers, can we talk about reality? This is something he's going back to like.
I think Cenk should be allowed to respond.
Perverting what I said there.
And they don't deserve it.
It allows for easy martyrdom for these guys, and they don't deserve it. That was when Antifa was going after him at a breakfast in Philadelphia.
So let's let Cenk respond to that.
No, that was about words, you moron. Okay, Jesus.
Martyrdom of words, right.
Jesus Christ, man.
Of
All
course.
right, so
easy
now let's
martyrdom.
get to reality, okay? Shut up. Let's get
Great argument, Cenk.
to reality, okay? So your last 2 guests, while pretending to be conciliatory, one of them started talking about me and started talking about blood on their hands. And then this idiot brings out a clip from 10 years ago that's about words and is pretending it has to do with violence. No show.
Martyrdom, bro? What? Huh?
In America, none of the Young Turks has. Oh, hey, can I talk after being...
Dude, condemning violence is such a joke. All right, he will go on his show and he'll be like, yo, kill that guy. I don't condone violence. Unbelievable.
Being accused of terrible things that I didn't come within a million miles of doing. Who did Charlie invite to have these conversations?
No one's accusing you for killing him. What we are accusing you of is absolutely 1,000% creating an environment where it is moral and ethical in the mind of a fucking retard to murder a man because you don't like him.
Me. Why did he invite me if I'm so bad when it comes to these issues? No.
Because he was willing to have a conversation with anyone. That's right. You killed the best of us. The best of us. I don't want to Okay, dude, I want to make something clear. I don't want to reconciliate with Cenk or Hassan or any of these other fucking freaks on the far left that are straight up calling to violence all the time. I do not want reconciliation. I don't want that whatsoever. No, I want accountability.
Oh, it's because Charlie and I understood
tried to work
that
out
we
the worst
disagree.
people.
We could, David, let me speak. So we understood that we could have vehement disagreement, and we often, and look, guys, but without getting
Are you going to delete any of those videos? Are you going to delete any of those videos accusing him of being a white supremacist?
No, I'm not. Because Dave, what you're doing is, Dave, will you let me talk?
Do you think he was a white supremacist?
Piers.
Was Charlie a white supremacist?
No,
Was
listen
Charlie
to me.
No.
Well, if you're not going to let me answer, what the hell's the point of this?
He's asking if you think he's a white supremacist. He obviously wasn't.
Okay, listen.
Well, you won't
So
delete them.
do
Why
I
not?
still
Bro was on the verge of tears.
disagree with the things
Keep fucking slaughtering this man, bro.
that Charlie said? Of course I do. I'm not changing my opinion on that. And all the
Opinion? You're calling for violence. Opinion?
titles that you just read were very normal political disagreements. In none of the titles were there call for violence, because there never is on the Young Turks. And I abhor what happened to Charlie. I met his wife. This is a human being. Look, guys, there's two things that I propose. You guys can go back and...
Bro, you call him a Nazi fascist. Why would you call someone a fascist if you don't want to kill him? I'm sorry. If you call someone a fascist, it's obviously because you want the guy killed, right? A fascist is an inherent danger to our democracy. It's a danger to our people. It is a danger to our nation. If you're calling him a Nazi, it's because you want to kill him, okay? All right? Can we stop? Literally, this is unreal. I hate playing this game. And again, it's not the same as when the right retaliates by calling people Nazis or fascists. They actually say it and they actually mean it because they want to kill you and justify your death. I made a video on this. Let me see if I can find my video, actually. Where's my video on the Young Turks? I can't find it. Dude, I made a whole video on this guy calling for violence. Yeah, I found it. It's this video. The Young Turks inspired this. Actual cretinous retards. Like, it's so frustrating, bro.
Oh, Jimmy's just speaking out of turn or whatever. It's
dude.
not like Gavin Long directly responded to this.
Oh, God.
But here's the thing. He directly responded that
dude. People. You are right.
Broke her teeth. The police officer was fired because he was in the wrong.
But what's wrong with this guy? Is it like a power thing? Is it roid rage? Is it something like weirdly sexual?
I would guess the woman was not white who he did this to.
Oh my God! Radicalizing people. It was a white person. All right, so they will lie about it.
Weirdest thing when you're around cops, right? You're like, oh, you want to be like compliant, right? But at the same time, if you don't know they're going to slam your head into a car or something, like you don't want to be so compliant. Right. So when do I fight them? When do I give a little resistance? When?
Oh my God! All right, so when do I fight and when do I give resistance against the cops? All right. So then this is Gavin Long. This is a murderer. This is the guy that murdered 4 cops. And this is what he said. And this guy, by the way, ended up shooting 6 cops and killing 4 of them.
It's not really a principle, but it is in a way. So I just wanted to bring up when the Native Americans, when they were extincted by the same people that run this country.
They weren't extincted. Bro.
Something for you to think about. At what point should they have stood up?
At what point should they stand up? It's the same exact term. And this video of Gavin Long was a reaction video to the Young Turks. It was a reaction video.
For y'all to think about.
Oh, my Lord. It's the same word. And in fact, he did this multiple times. He reacted to a whole bunch of his videos. And here's the really scary one. This is a reaction to the Young Turks made by a murderer, a guy that murdered 4 police officers. And in his glasses is the reflection of the Young Turks as he reacted to them. They are in his glasses reflection as he talks about agreeing with them to go kill cops. And then goes killing cops.
The cops came in. You're supposed to be the de-escalator.
Bro, he's just literally repeating their words!
Which makes no sense.
Their words!
You're supposed to make peace. You came in.
Oh my God.
And made it war.
Now in this video...
So here he is directly repeating what the Young Turks is saying while the Young Turks' reflection are in his glasses. And then he goes out and murders 4 police officers. So I have no sympathy for these people. None. And I don't think I should.
Headlines imply that Charlie's racist or misogynist.
No, now I talk. Now I talk.
Oh, they don't?
Enough
they
with
don't.
the accusing and then not letting me talk, okay? So this whole idea, both sides are blind. And Piers, you know this better than anyone. I call out Biden and I say, "Our Democrats, are you crazy? He's obviously old. He's obviously lost his faculties, right?" And now this absurdity about how the right are all angels. Are we kidding? You guys
No
didn't
one's
see
saying that.
January 6th? You didn't see
January 6th! Yeah, January 6th!
Attacking cops, raiding the Capitol, chanting, hang Mike Pence, hang Mike Pence. But that leads to my point, not that the right is more guilty. And I'm sickened by the trend that has now appeared on the left of violence. I'm sickened by it.
See, this is what I mean by he's such a fraud. He will, in my opinion, advocate for violence and then immediately follow up with, I don't condone violence. I am sickened too.
So I'm proposing two things, guys. Well, no way should we ever shut down speech. No way. Not right-wing speech, not left-wing speech. You don't shut it down with the government, and you don't shut it down with violence. So first thing is easy. The second one is hard. The first one is on all of our shows, as we do every day, call for nonviolence. The minute you see someone saying something violent, say, don't do that. That is unacceptable. That is not who we are on the left.
Okay, good. So I see something violent. This guy, in my opinion, condones violence all the time. Supports terrorists in the Middle East. All right, when Israel took out the Houthis, the Houthi terrorists, he made an entire video saying anyone that supports Israel is a Nazi because they killed the government of Yemen. They did not kill the government of Yemen. They killed terrorists, actually. Houthi terrorists. And you may believe that they killed the government of Yemen to say that anyone that supports Israel is a Nazi, which is literally directly telling people to kill them. Because that's what you do to Nazis, right, Shank? So I have no sympathy for this shit. I have none. This dehumanization shit is evil. And I will not stand for reconciliating with people that frankly want me dead.
Not who we are on the right. That is not who we are as Americans. You can say anything you want. For example, did Charlie say things that were anti-Muslim? He did. Did I still talk to him? Yes. And
yes, because it's an opinion and you're allowed to have an opinion.
I got heat for that. But guys,
you're so brave. You're so brave, chunk.
We're never going to convince each other if we never talk to one another. And now, if we start killing each other, it's madness. There's nothing wrong with disagreement, but there's something terribly wrong with violence and shutting down conversations. And then the hard one.
You're so brave, Jake.
Saying the left.
What about when do you fight back against cops? What about that, bro? About that, Chankles? Anything to say about that one? When do you fight back against cops? That was broadcast on your show, and it inspired someone to kill cops. Anything to say about that one? No, obviously not.
And the right. There is no such thing. Hold on, last thing.
We're not ready
There's
for the
no such thing as the left or the right. There are people that are.
You're right. It's about good and evil. Unfortunately, I think I know where I would place you if I had to. By the way, your co-host, a kind woman that says the Jews did 9/11, so obviously she's very well put together. This is her saying that it's in the same video that I made. You should check out this video if you want to see why the Young Turks is evil. Where she says you should fight back against ICE agents. These people are such emotional little bitches. The Young Turks is literally just like crying grandmas getting together to pearl clutch and cry about random bullshit that goes on in the world. True. Like, dude, your opinion means so little because of how little it's based in reality. True. If someone's illegal in the country, get them the fuck out. It's that simple. Everyone agrees, except for retards.
They're just showing up
you condone the
in trucks.
You condone the violence?
You can go and arrest people that are illegally invading our country and deport them? Yes. Yes, and it's incredibly funny.
$2 going to that garbage.
I don't care. We have a democracy, actually, and now, being that we have a democracy, we voted for President Donald Trump, who ran on getting rid of illegal immigrants. True. He won, unfortunately for you, that's life. Now you can leave. You don't have to stay. That's what we're dealing with. It's not a communist utopia, it turns out.
Okay, those people do not to be treated that way. Simply might be undocumented.
The ICE agents
might be undocumented. Did they deport anybody that wasn't undocumented? The answer is no. There has not been a single instance so far of someone getting deported that was actually legal in the country. It didn't happen a single time, for the record. That's right.
They deserve to be having violent acts committed, rocks thrown at them.
No, they don't. They don't.
Okay, they don't. All right. Pay attention to this, because this is what I was saying the whole time. No, they don't deserve getting rocks thrown at them. In other words, I don't condone violence, but condemns violence.
And those people who do that get arrested, and they should be arrested.
All right, so she condemns violence. No problem.
Because they've been told the ICE agents are...
However, the fact that in a city like Los Angeles that has a massive immigrant community, when they see their...
Yeah, no one cares about the immigrant community. It's the illegal immigrants that are invading our country that should be deported.
Mothers or fathers or family members rounded up.
Okay.
That leads to a lot of rage, and they retaliate. I'm not...
Oh! So
Violence.
you're kind of endorsing the violence!
There it is.
Dude, it is amazing how they do this. You shouldn't be violent, but also, if they come for your family, you're not gonna fight back. It's like, okay, all right, so you're endorsing the violence.
Saying they should, that is criminal.
They shouldn't, but they do, and it's good that they do it because it makes sense.
They should not assault a police.
Yeah, it does kind of sound like that, right?
Let me just tell you something. Someone messes with my family, I get violent.
Oh! So she admits she's a terrorist? Question mark. Oh, you are the party of violence. Thank you so much for coming forward. Thank you for literally coming onto the show to me. So they all do this. That's the Young Turks strategy. We condemn violence. Also, we should fight back and kill them.
And we explain this on the Young Turks all the time about the right wing, which is, guys, are they radical right? There are, right? But are they the entirety of all of the Trump voters? Of course not. There's so many good Americans.
So then why do you say that all the Trump voters are Nazis and fascists? Dude, we can't play this game. We cannot play this game. I don't care.
Americans who voted for Trump, who, by the way, some of them voted for Obama before, some of them voted for Bernie before. Same thing on the left. This guy's a lunatic. Are there extreme left-wingers? By the way, the clip that you showed...
Oh, that one guy is a lunatic. It's a single instance of one lunatic.
There's no prominent Democrat or left-wingers on there, but that clip sickened me. It sickened me. So
Okay, but Cenk,
elements in the left,
hang on,
of course,
hang on,
definitely.
hang on,
But
hang on. You mentioned that, and in fact, there are clips though, of high-profile people saying that stuff. Matthew Dowd got fired by MSNBC
Good.
within minutes, literally, of saying this on the night that Charlie got killed.
Talk to me about the environment in which a shooting like this happens.
Yeah, and again, I emphasize what you just emphasized. We don't know any full details of this. That we don't know if this was a supporter shooting their gun off in celebration, or so we have no idea about this.
Maybe
but following up what was just said, he's been one of the most divisive, especially divisive younger figures in this, who is constantly sort of pushing this sort of hate speech or sort of aimed at certain groups. And I always go back to hateful thoughts lead to hateful words, which then lead to hateful actions. And I think that's the environment we're in, that
Bro's wife definitely took the kids.
People just, you can't stop with these sort of awful thoughts you have and then saying these awful words and not expect awful actions to take place. And that's the unfortunate environment we're in.
In other words, Cenk, he had it coming. And I found that despicable. I said it in the moment. He then got fired, and quite rightly. But there were lots of other high-profile people, actually, who weren't just TikTokers saying bad stuff. Just hold fire panel for a moment. I'm being joined now by Republican Congresswoman Lauren Boebert. Lauren.
All right, I don't care about Republican Congresswoman Lauren Boebert. All right, not doing that right now. Don't care. We'll skip that to the next segment.
Kirk was murdered than you have done for many months. I found that a particularly disturbing thing that you revealed there. But I appreciate you coming on, Uncensored. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Piers.
Well, to go back to the panel, I mean, Batia, the thing we haven't discussed in all this, I guess, is the guns.
Oh my fucking God, dude, we can't do this every single time. We can't do this every single time. This is insane. It's absolutely insane. The gun thing? Come on, dude. It was a gun-free zone. You were not allowed to bring guns there. They brought it anyway, illegally. Obviously, it's not going to matter. Also, he was shot with a hunting rifle, okay? A fucking hunting rifle. Stop. Literally, I'm skipping it. I don't care about the gun segment. I have no interest. Yeah, my God, guns. Don't care. Anyway, next.
When he said the left have imbibed this idea that to get what you want, you are able and should be able to use violence. I mean, come on. Yeah, go back to January the 6th. Because MAGA at that moment...
Oh my God! Oh my God! Go back to January 6th. Every time. What are we doing?
Quite literally decided to use violence to overturn an election result. And let's just talk about violent language as well. From the very top.
Broken.
Donald Trump, fight like hell. If you don't fight like hell...
Oh, he said fight like hell in a political context, and you think that's violence. Dude, what are we doing?
Not going to have a country anymore. Rudy Giuliani, let's have trial by combat. Republican representative...
He literally said trial. Hello? That does not mean extrajudicial killings.
Mo Brooks, today is the day American patriots start down taking names and kicking ass. On the mission.
You think it meant literally kicking ass? You think literally he meant physically kicking ass? Are we serious right now?
Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer kidnapping plot, instead of condemning it, didn't condemn it. What did Trump do? He said, maybe it was a problem, maybe it wasn't. She locked down her state. Even on Mitch McConnell, his own Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, on Truth Social, Trump said McConnell had a death wish for supporting bipartisan legislation.
He said that he had a death wish that is not telling your supporters to go kill him. None of this is inciting violence.
That's not legitimizing violence, then I don't know what it is.
Well, I know what is legitimizing violence. Supporting Luigi Mangione, or this guy that killed Charlie Kirk, celebrating the murder and assassination of an innocent person. I think calling people Nazis and fascists constantly in the media everywhere. I think that is straight up telling you to be violent. Telling you that they are a threat to democracy. What the fuck does threat to democracy mean? You remember when Trump just won? That was literally the primary rally. Threat to democracy. Threat to democracy means they're stealing your country. We need to fight back with force. What are we doing?
Your response to that?
I have to agree with Lewis. He is living in a different reality, one with connection to actual reality.
But what's wrong?
What are you talking about?
Shut the hell up, let him talk.
Well, I've just said
You're comparing somebody saying fight like hell in the context of a political campaign.
In the context of a
with
lie
what
where
I
you tried to
explained
overturn
earlier.
a democratic
Lewis,
election.
Can you shut up, dude?
Are you capable of listening to an alternative point of view?
I'm
Do you have
listening to
Well,
nonsense.
shut up then. Shut up and listen if you're capable of it. Now, you can't compare somebody saying fight like hell in the context of a political campaign with what I explained earlier, which is when you call people Nazis.
The campaign was over.
Can you shut up, dude?
And
what
listen
the hell,
to
dude?
an alternative opinion.
People
Why
are
is it that you
insufferable.
people have a complete inability to listen to opinions that you don't like? Why?
In fact, they'll kill you for it. If you have an opinion they don't like, they will justify your murder. We're literally seeing that in real time.
Can't you just sit there and actually hear what I'm saying?
I'm waiting.
You can't oh my God. You can't compare somebody saying fight like hell with somebody explaining that the country is an imminent threat of a fascist takeover, because an imminent threat of a fascist takeover is something that would actually legitimize you picking up a rifle and heading to the front line. So when you and Cenk and people like that call people you don't like far right, hard right, Nazis, and fascists, you are creating an environment in which some crazy people, yes, of course they're crazy, will feel that they're entitled to use violence to prevent the fake fascist takeover you keep banging on about. And there is no equivalence between these things. I disagree, by the way. You know, Cenk is entitled to criticize Charlie Kirk and his positions on the show. That's absolutely fine. But when you label and smear people as fascists and Nazis, that is taking it to an entirely different level. And that is where I hope there would be some self-reflection. But I'm not seeing any on this panel tonight.
That's right.
I'm afraid.
I'm really glad that they did this. We're literally seeing the people that have caused the problems not take accountability for the problems they caused. No, this was amazing. This was such a good fucking panel. Just straight up to see how demonstrably evil these people are. There is no discussion. There's no reconciliation with the people that actually that are like this. Bro, absolutely destroyed him.
No, and it's interesting. You know, I remember the Madison Square Garden rally just before the election, and I went to that because I'd never been to any political rally for anyone. But Trump said, "Why don't you come down?" I went down, and I was really struck by the fact that it was being branded by the left, from Hillary Clinton to MSNBC and others.
That's right.
As
you go to like a generic protest, right? You go to a generic protest, and they'll call you a Nazi fascist, justifying your murder.
Neo-Nazi rally. They compared it to one in the 30s at the Madison Square Garden, which was indeed a neo-Nazi rally. And I thought then it was incredibly dangerous, but also incredibly stupid. There were many Jewish people in the audience. There was a Holocaust survivor, a prominent one, in the audience.
They call Holocaust survivors Nazis. Do you recognize? Dude, my grandfather is over 100 years old. He is a Holocaust survivor. God bless him. He reads the newspaper from cover to cover every single day with a magnifying glass. What an unbelievable man. He came from nothing. His entire family was murdered in the Holocaust, and he built a beautiful family. Nothing but respect. What a beautiful, special person. He voted for Trump, and they called him a Nazi. They called him a Nazi, an 100-year-old Holocaust survivor whose entire family was murdered by Nazis. They called him a Nazi because he voted for Trump. All right? And you don't understand. He had a passion. He called my uncle, and he says, drive me to the voting thing. I am voting. It's our only chance, basically, for the country. Dude is he's a patriot. What can I say? Nothing but love and respect for this man. I love my grandfather so much. May he be well. They called him a Nazi. He was called a Nazi. Holocaust survivor. We're not living in reality.
Donald Trump, his son-in-law is Jewish. His daughter converted to Judaism.
That's right. They call Trump a Nazi. His daughter converted to Judaism.
Of course. The idea that he is the new Adolf Hitler.
And by the way, and you know why Cenk is doing like his half grin over here? Because Cenk calls anyone that is Israeli or supports Israel a Nazi. When Israel wiped out the Houthi leaders, terrorists, designated terrorists by the United States of America, he said that that's Nazism because they killed the government of Yemen. When it's not the government of Yemen, it's a terrorist cell. So, of course, look at this fucking grin. He does this.
It's been utterly preposterous. But to take your point, Constantine, I completely agree. If you are telling people all the time that Trump is Hitler and his followers are Nazis or fascists, then it makes absolute logical sense to a warped mind that they should be stopped and that the only way to stop fascists and Nazis is with violence. And actually, in their heads, they are doing society a favor. This is the right thing to do. So the over-demonization constantly of Trump in particular and people that support him, I've always felt is extremely dangerous.
Are we saying that Donald Trump has never demonized his opponents?
Not at all. And in fact, I...
Both sides. Charlie Kirk was killed. Both sides.
I completely agree with you when you say that there are many examples on the right of violence amongst the far right.
That's why the liberal boomers, you lost me, guys. You lost me. It's not both sides.
But I do think that there is just over-demonization from everybody, and it does lead disturbed minds to believe they are doing the right, good thing. You know, I haven't heard what this shooter has to say. Apparently, he's not cooperating with authorities now. He's got lawyered up and is now saying nothing. But
literally don't care. All right, so that's the end of the debate. Then they bring in a new guy. But yeah, no, I'm really glad that that we saw this. It literally just exposed these people because they have not learned anything. In fact, they've gotten worse. They are, and I say this, and I mean every word, the left is using Charlie Kirk's murder to villainize the right. And if that's not straight up evil, do not believe your lying eyes. I don't know what is. I am in the mood for reconciliation. Any person that is a true, honest to God, good person, 100%, my heart is open to you. If you are evil and support the murder of a man, because he loved God, then you are evil. And I don't want reconciliation with evil. I want evil destroyed. God is good. Like, subscribe, and this video was streamed live on kick.com/Nuxanor. See you there. Stay weird, fam.